back again by chapter that is the Song of the Free. What do the word when I grow dim and the heart grow faint suggest in the poem? The disease of eyes and heart, the weakening of eyes and heart, old age, या फिर giddiness. It is old age. Which of the following is an example of personification? You are divine. Why is the rhyme scheme in first stanza? The rhyme scheme, the first stanza is based on AB AB. Whom does the poet address in stanza 4? The poet addresses the man in the form of soul in stanza 4. When lightning cleaves its breast, what does it refers to here? The word it refers to the man's heart. Point out his example of a metaphor in the poem. The poet introduces the man in the form of wounded snake. Which dream does the poet refer in the concluding stanza? The poet refers to the dream of a man in which he thinks to complete his expectations. What idea does the poet want to suggest by referring to activities in nature in first two stanza? In the first two stanza, the poet discusses about the troubles and the mental condition of a man and his effort in adverse situation of life. He clears that the wounded man becomes more powerful like a lion, his heart filled with awareness to prove himself beast. In stanza 5, why does the poet say, I am he? The poet says, I am he because he clears that the soul has no shape and it can neither be called angel and a man nor animal. There is no sex of the soul and it is formless. There is no particular explanation about it in books, so the poet called the man like a god. Explain the word I am, I'll be. Here the poet clears that the man existed in this world before the creation of planet and the universe. He is at present time and he will remain in this world forever. He means to say that the man is immortal and he never dies. What is a poet's view on human soul? According to the view of the poet, the human soul of human being is immortal. It has existed in this world before the creation of heavenly bodies, and it is present now and will remain permanent in this world in near and future. Explain the following passage with reference and contrast and nature view. What inspiring but the goal? What inspiring message does the poem convey? On behalf of this poem, the poet conveyed an important message to human being that the soul is immortal and is shapeless. He says that in order to feel the presence of soul, the man must have to remove his ignorance, avoid external structures of man, which is mortal. The poet say, until the man remain involved along among the materialistic world and feel the existence of his body, he cannot understand the presence of soul in his structures. The poet clears that the man must see in his heart and create awareness of his soul and identify himself in the form of soul and remove the fear of death from his heart and mind and count himself God because God has granted the man all the powers equal to God. So the man is in God and he is at present and exists in this world before the creation of universe and will remain forever in this world. The man ought to admit his existence in this world and believe immortality of soul in this mortal world. When does the great man do his best effort? When the great man is wounded, he shows his best efforts. He lifts his head with great courage till the snake and lift his hood to create the fire of anger. His heart filled with great courage like a lion, and he noticed in the depth of his soul and becomes aware about his hidden power and shows his best effort. What does the man lose his love and friends? When does a man lose his love and friend? When the man becomes old, his eyesight becomes dim in the sense of distrust develop in his heart. He began to fear about his fate. The sense of ignorance is created in heart and mind. In such a situation, all his friends leave him alone, and all his dear ones who love him forsake him. How old is the existence of man according to the poet? According to the poet, the existence of man is very old. He existed in this world before the creation of sun and the moon as all the heavenly bodies and the universe. He means to say that the man took birth in this world at first to creation of earth and the space and the natural elements. To whom does the poet advise the man to love? The poet advises the man to love himself because the man is God and God lives in the man, and all the nature and natural element exist in man. He existed in this world before the creation of this world, and he will remain in it forever. So the man should love himself because his soul is immortal. What lesson does the poet teach to the readers in the poem? In the poem, the poet delivers an important lesson to the readers that the soul is immortal and the soul exists in the structure of man. In this way, the man is immortal and he will remain in this world forever, so that the man must love the man in order to become the true worshipper of God, because God lives in all the men, and service of all men is a true worship to God who is everywhere. What is the aim of life of man according to the poet? According to the poet, the goal of a life of a man is to seek immortality in the mortal world. He says that seeking salvation is a great target of a man. In this way, the company of God can provide the man permanent existence in this world, so that the man must find out the presence of soul himself and develop the sense of love for the soul which is inside the man. In this way, the man can achieve his goal by loving himself. Thank you.